Hey, what's going on, Spurs Nation? I'm Coach Rob Trejo Jr., and this is your San Antonio Spurs Weekly Update. On this episode, we're talking pre-draft workouts and interviews that the Spurs have done so far, and Manu Ginobili actually being there at the Combine. We're going to get into that. The Spurs dropped some new logos, which have caused a stir among Spurs fans. Some like them, some don't. Let me know what you think. Lavar Ball is calling out Zach Lavine in Chicago. We're going to dive into that. And did Dejounte Murray get snubbed from the All-NBA defensive teams? All this brought to you on the Spurs Weekly Update by patreon.com/SpursTubeTv, where you can connect with the channel, drop videos, audio questions, support the channel, merch discounts, and more for $5 a month at patreon.com/SpursTubeTV. Coming up on SpursTubeTV. We're going to get into the list of players that the Spurs have shown interest in a second, but before we do, we had a Manu Ginobili sighting at the NBA Combine. This gets me jacked. If you recall, towards the final stretch of last season, Manu's presence with the team was felt. He was appearing at courtside at games and walking in with the team into the locker room after the games. This raises the question for me, has the Manu era officially begun? It's not like he hasn't been around, but to be involved to this extent where he's at the Combine is very encouraging for the program to me. I cannot wait to see what his imprint will be. He's one of the most fiercest competitors to ever participate in sports, period. There's a reason why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Having him around to evaluate the potential in this upcoming draft class should bode well for the Spurs. The idea of Manu watching Combine events, participating in interviews, and mentoring freshly picked talent is something that the organization needs. After his brief sabbatical, it seems that his love for the game has pulled him back in. Let's hope for a little Manu magic. Another thing we got to talk about is Mitch Johnson, assistant NBA coach, is at the Combine, putting in that work, doing what he needs to do to build himself up to be the best head coach that he can be in the future. Shout out to Coach Mitch Johnson. So let's talk about what's going on in the pre-draft workouts and interviews. We're going to break it down into guards, forwards, and then who we interviewed at the Combine this year. So far, the Spurs have either had a workout or interviewed with Quervion Smith, Ty Washington, Johnny Davis, Amal Bienmi, Alex Barciello, Michael DeVoe, and Keon Ellis. So Johnny Davis had something to say at the Combine when asked about the Spurs. This comes from Tom Osborne. Johnny Davis was asked at the Combine who interviewed with the Spurs on Wednesday on the possibility of them taking him at number 9. Johnny says, obviously playing under Coach Popovich, the most famous coach in NBA history, is something I would really want to happen. Johnny Davis is a 6'5" shooting guard who can really light it up in the mid-range. Shot 30% from the three-point line. Not all that great, but he is a bucket at 42% from the field. Spurs also interviewed point guard 6'3" out of Kentucky, freshman Ty Washington, freshman shooting guard 6'3" out of NC State, to Quervion Smith, shooting guard Alex Barciello out of BYU. Let's talk about the forwards that the Spurs have met with. The Spurs have interviewed or worked out Terry Eason, Gabriel Procida, Jeremy Sokan, Ousmane Dieng, Jalen Wilson, Dominic Barlow, and Darius Days. Terry Eason said Spurs interviewed him yesterday. I see their player development and how they do things, and I really like them as a team. They've been on my radar for a while. Jeremy Sokan had something to say as well. He said he interviewed with the Spurs and said it was crazy shaking hands with Manu. Great energy. He said his session with Brian Wright and company, that they were all very cool. Now, both of these guys should be there at 9. I'm not too sure if they'll be there at 20. We'll have to wait and see. They also interviewed France natives Ousmane Dieng, who's a 6'9" small forward out of New Zealand playing in the NBL. And also they interviewed Gabriel Procida, who is a 6'7" shooting guard / small forward out of Italy. Italian 6'7" swingman Gabriel Procida with Fortitude Bologna told me that the Spurs interviewed him today. One of the staffers picking his brain, Manu Ginobili. We talked in Italian. It was great to meet him, said Procida, a projected second rounder. The Spurs also have met with small forward Harrison Ingram out of Stanford, freshman. This is coming from Noah Magaro-George. The Spurs met with the following players during the NBA Draft Combine last week: Patrick Baldwin Jr., Marjon Beauchamp, and John Butler Jr. Each of these players should be available outside the lottery, and San Antonio owns the 20th and 25th pick. So Patrick Baldwin Jr. is a freshman out of Milwaukee, small forward, 6'10". Marjon Beauchamp is out of the G League Ignite, 6'6" shooting guard. And John Butler is a 7'1" power forward / center out of Florida State. The numbers are pretty limited. He's very raw, but at 7'1", he's an interesting prospect for sure. So the Spurs dropped some new logos. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about these logos. To be honest, I love them. I am totally over the Fiesta jerseys from last year. Just did not do it for me. The ones before that were all right. I'm not mad at these logos right here. First off, let's talk about the 50-year anniversary logo. San Antonio Spurs tweeted out, "For 50 years, moments turned to memories in San Antonio as two colors became revered. The celebration begins this fall and continues all season long." This is their logo for the 50th anniversary. I love it. It's the Spur with the golden ribbon, established 1973 with the 5 stars on it, representing the 5 championships. Now, these logos were dropped just the other day. Let's take a look at the first one here. We got the SATX logo that's brand new on top of a basketball, bold and black. This classic basketball badge adds some local edge to our on-court look. This is a Texas-shaped logo with the Spur imprint right on the heart of Texas, where San Antonio is located. A modern yet minimal, this Texas crest connects our fans across the globe to the heart of our home. The SATX logo is shorthanded for the city. This new letter mark highlights our hometown, our region, and our state in just 4 letters. You guys let me know what you think of these logos down below. I like them. I can't wait to see them. I like that the Spurs are going back to the silver, gray, and black. I'm kind of over this whole Fiesta era that we had here. Let's move on. Lavar Ball calls out Zach Lavine. This was from Bleacher Report the other day. When they asked Lavar Ball on Zach Lavine and his future with the Bulls, he says he's gone. He don't want to play no second fiddle. Now this raises a big question to me. Who's the first fiddle? Is it his son, Lonzo? Is it DeMar? I don't know. I mean, I kind of think there is a little bit of tug and pull between DeMar and Zach Lavine on who's the number 1 guy. But if he's talking about his son, I mean, Lonzo's 3rd or 4th best on that team. You got Vucevic as well. So I have no idea who he's talking about. But this bodes well for San Antonio Spurs fans who are hoping that Lavine takes San Antonio pretty seriously. It seems like in Chicago, things aren't all peaches and cream. All right, so Dejounte Murray got left off the All-NBA defensive list. This is coming from Noah McGraw-George. Dejounte Murray received 2 All-NBA All-Defense first-team votes and 20 second-team votes. The Spurs All-Star earned the 3rd most points among the players who did not make the all-defensive team. Dejounte Murray went to Twitter and said, 10 years ago, I was in juvenile, and that whole month in there, I told the guards, I'm gonna get out and change my life and never come back. And they told me I will be right back. 10 years later, the same guards asking for pictures and my autograph. Look at God. So obviously, Dejounte Murray is not letting this bother him too much. So it is brought to you by patreon.com/SpursTubeTv. All right, thank you guys for hanging out. Just to let you know what we have coming soon. We have Mock Draft 2.0 post-combine dropping very soon. We also have a big board episode where we're diving into who the Spurs shortlists are for each pick, 9, 20, 25, and 38. All that coming up very soon. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, support the channel, check out the Patreon link down below. Go Spurs, go. As always, I'm Coach Rob Trejo Jr., and don't forget to order some extra salsa.